الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So continuing on with the 99 names of Allah, inshallah we'll be discussing regarding the name of Allah Ta'ala, Al-Bari. Al-Bari. So as I mentioned before, that as we go along, try to memorize all of the names of Allah, right? So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wallahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim al-Malik al-Quddus al-Salam al-Mu'min al-Muhaymin al-Aziz al-Jabbar al-Mutakabbir al-Khaliq al-Bari. That's where we are right now. So, try to memorize all of them, whenever we go through the names, inshallah. As I mentioned in the past, the famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the one who memorizes man ahsaha dakhal al-Jannah, right? Allah Ta'ala has 99 names of Allah, 99 names, and the one who the hadith is man ahsaha dakhal al-Jannah, and we had explained what ahsaha means. Either you memorize only or you bring it into your life, right? So inshallah, moving along, Al-Bari, some people they bring, I'll explain. Al-Bari has 4 general meanings, right? You can summarize all of their different aqwal into about 4 meanings. Number 1, Al-Bari means Al-Mujid, Al-Mubdi', meaning the one who creates, right? So in this case, this is very similar to the name of Allah Ta'ala, Al-Khaliq. Okay? If we consider this terminology or this explanation of this name of Allah Ta'ala, then it'll come very similar to Al-Khaliq, which we did the previous week. Right? And so that's the first explanation, that Al-Bari is similar to Al-Khaliq. So therefore you'll see in some books, they put Al-Khaliq, Al-Bari together. Right? And that's how they explain it. But that's one explanation. The second explanation is الَّذِي فَصَلَ بَعْضَ الْخَلْقِ عَنْ بَعْض, meaning Allah Ta'ala, He differentiates between creations. So this is the differentiator, you can say. The differentiator who differentiates, who makes a difference between different creations. So humans are different from animals, and animals are different from others, and so on, right? And within humanity, you find different people. You find people who are white, people who are black, people who are brown, people who are all different colors and shapes, sizes, and so on and so forth. So this is how Allah Ta'ala differentiates. What's amazing here, again, if we focus on just one aspect of this, right? We look at every single person, and every single person is different. Every single human is different. We look at our fingerprints. Every single human. How many billions of humans have come across time? And not one single human is the same as another. Can you imagine? I mean, what coincidence is this? How can it be coincidence that, billions and billions of humans have existed, yet not one single human is similar to another? And so you can find twins, for example. Twins are different. Whether even, aside from the fingerprints, every aspect, yes, they may have similarities, but they're still different. So this is another qudrat of Allah Ta'ala, Al-Bari. The third, Al-Bari يدل على أنه تعالى خلق الإنسان من التراب. So this is kind of one name which alludes to the fact that Allah Ta'ala created humanity from dirt. Right? That Allah Ta'ala created humanity from dirt. And this comes from the Quranic ayah, ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Right? So this reminder that we are created from dirt, this it comes under this. Why? Because in Arabic, the word bari, this refers to dirt. So therefore, Al-Bari would be the one who created humans from dirt, right? And so we find from, typically when we bury someone, it's sunnah to recite this. Minha khalaqnakum. You take 3, hand or fistfuls of dirt. You take it. Minha khalaqnakum. From this dirt we are created. وَفِيهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ, and then second fistful will be sent back into this dirt. وَمِنْهَا نُخْرِجُكُمْ تَارَةً أُخْرَى, and a time will come when we'll be taken out from this dirt as well. Right? So this is the third explanation of the name of Allah Ta'ala, Al-Bari. Number 4, Al-Bari الذي خلق الخلق برأينا بريئا من التفاوت. I'm sorry. So he says that, sorry, my tablet died today, so I'm like using my phone. I can't really see until I zoom in. Anyways, so Al-Bari is that being who, now this is the most common understanding of Al-Bari, which is that the being who created without defects. The being who created without defects. So this is the system of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala has created us in a perfect manner. Right? So then the ayah of Allah Ta'ala, مَا تَرَى فِي خَلْقِ الرَّحْمَنِ مِن تَفَاوُتٍ. You will not see in the creation of Ar-Rahman any type of defects or deficiencies. فَرْجِعَ الْبَصَرَ هَلْ تَرَى مِن فُطُورٍ. That repeatedly look, but you will not find any cracks or any blemishes. Right? This is in Surah Al-Mulk, Allah Ta'ala talking about the creation of Allah Ta'ala. Right? So Allah Ta'ala, He created us and all of His creation in the perfect manner. Now an objection can be raised. That yes, you are saying that Allah Ta'ala created us perfect, but in reality, sometimes you find people, they are, they lose their eyesight, for example. Maybe they were born with some defects. So you're claiming that Allah Ta'ala is the creator of all things without defects. How can there be creatures that are born with defects? Right? So the answer to that is that, listen, this is actually what we don't understand. Right? If we have this, then if we think like this, then our response or our vision is very limited, right? Because the fact is that Allah Ta'ala, number one, Allah Ta'ala, the first answer, the simple answer is that لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. That Allah Ta'ala will not be asked about what He does, and others will be asked. That's you can say that the answer to ignore the question, you can say, right? But basically that is an answer, that Allah Ta'ala does whatever He likes. Allah creates people how He likes, and He will not be questioned. But then if you're understanding the proper answer, we say that the question actually is flawed. The question itself is flawed. That Allah Ta'ala, He creates perfectly, right? But the fact is that those who have belief in Allah Ta'ala, those who have iman in Allah Ta'ala, they will know that even when Allah Ta'ala creates people in a flawed manner or with a defect, Allah will still reward people for that. Or Allah Ta'ala will still take care of them in some way or the other. So, for example, the person who Allah Ta'ala creates blind, or Allah Ta'ala tests them with blindness, what happens? In the hadith, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says that من فقد حبيبتيه فإن الله عز وجل يبدله بهما الجنة يصير على ذلك. Right? يصبر على ذلك. Right? That the person who Allah Ta'ala, He tests them by taking away their eyesight. Allah Ta'ala, in exchange for that, when that person has patience on this, Allah Ta'ala will give them Jannah in exchange for that. Right? So we understand from this that a person, even if they're tested by some way, even if they have some sort of defect, despite that, Allah Ta'ala will keep them in a perfect situation, either in this world or in the next world. If not in this world, then definitely in the next world, Allah Ta'ala will bring that perfection to that person's life. Right? Meaning in the sense that in the next world, so this person, they were born blind, they experienced this world in a defective manner, you can say, quote unquote, right? But in the next world, inshallah, that person's life will be perfect. Right? So therefore, it's not necessary that Allah Ta'ala has to give that person the perfection in this world, but also Allah Ta'ala can give it in the next world as well. So this is the response to this. So we understand that Allah Ta'ala is Al-Bari, and this applies to everything. All of the tests or all of the trials that we may face, right? If a person is patient on those trials, Allah Ta'ala will definitely reward them, and Allah will give them much better in the next world. So this is how Allah Ta'ala is completely perfect, and Allah Ta'ala's creation is also perfect. Even if some people may have defects, they're still respected human beings. They're still people that we love and respect. So if someone is born blind, we still love and respect them. If someone has some defect, they have some type of deficiency in their speech, in their eyesight, or in their physical creation, we still love and respect them because they are the creation of Allah Ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, I had a teacher who was blind, alhamdulillah, right? He taught us Quran, Qari Wazir, mashallah, Hafiz Qari Wazir, mashallah. He's still alive, alhamdulillah. He's based out of New York, alhamdulillah. And alhamdulillah, the way that he would, so he couldn't really see, but if you brought something very close to his eyes, he could see, like very little, right? So he wasn't, I guess there are different levels of blindness, right? But he could see if you brought things very close to him. Anyway, so what we would do is we would come close to him and we would not say anything, and we would just go and we would just hold his hand as a salam. We would come and hold his hand, and he would recognize us based off of our hands, right? So he'd hold our hand and then he'd be like, "Oh, Saad," and then then we would say salam. It was like we used to love him, right? So we used to do it as a joke. But he is an amazing person, mashallah. He's in Al-Bari, New York, mashallah. If you ever go there, inshallah, you can go visit him. My blind teacher, alhamdulillah. Allah Ta'ala bless him, inshallah. Any questions on what was discussed? Yes.
One question. Like someone born in a non-Muslim family and having not ability to understand or giving a dawah, in that case, how that person will receive afterlife?
Yeah. So the question is basically, if a person is born blind, if a person is born without Islam and they don't have any means of receiving the message, or they didn't receive the message,
or they don't have the ability to understand, maybe mental or whatever disorder.
Yeah. So obviously that's a different question, right? That's different from what the topic is, but I'll answer it anyways, right? The answer is that if someone is disabled, they're known as marfu' al-qalam, meaning they are not held accountable for their actions, right? In the sense that Allah, someone who has mental instability, for example, and so on, those types of problems, Allah Ta'ala will forgive them, Allah will give them Jannah, inshallah. Okay, so that's one. But as for the first part of your question, what if someone is, they never received da'wah and they were born as non-Muslims and so on, and they never received, that's a different question, by the way, right? One is if someone is born with a defect or with some sort of mental instability and they're not able to process and so on, what about them? So inshallah they'll be in Jannah. As for the people who they were born somewhere and they never received the message of Islam, the beauty of our deen is that Allah Ta'ala has given every single one of us intellect to think and ponder for ourselves, right? So if someone, they are in let's say some random small island in the middle of nowhere, they have no internet, let's say 100 years ago, right? 100 years ago, they were born, forget some island, in many populated areas. Maybe Islam never reached them, for example. In that case, if they use their intellect and they believe that there is some creator, now who that creator is, they don't know, but they use their intellect to believe that there is some creator who created all of us, because all of this cannot happen by itself. And so therefore I believe there's some creator, even though they don't know who Rasulullah is, they don't know anything else, and they never received the da'wah, they never received the message of Islam. And in that case, Allah, inshallah, Allah will give them Jannah as well, because they never received da'wah and because they use their natural intellect to come to the conclusion of some being who is in authority and power. So therefore, inshallah, they will be forgiven as well. Inshallah. A good question, very important question, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala guide all of us, and Allah Ta'ala make us all firm believers and people who understand the qudra of Allah Ta'ala and who understand who Allah Ta'ala is and guide us towards Him. Jazakumullah khair wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum.